I want to introduce top 11 finalist Bashirrah Creswell to the show.
Hello, hello.
All right. I'm super interested in talking to you because I know that your audition process was very different than the previous contestants I've interviewed. So I want to know all about that. But before we get into pop stars, I want to know a little history about you as far as how did you get into music, singing, dance? What sparked that first interest? How did that start?
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Philadelphia, which is definitely a music town, an old music town. But I ended up going to school in New York City and learning about musicals. I didn't really know about musicals, so that was kind of like my first interest was like, I'm gonna be a Broadway star. Like I'm gonna do Broadway. And so I went to Marymount Manhattan College in Manhattan and got my theater degree there. And I was lucky enough and talented enough to do The Lion King right after graduation. It was like I was auditioning in my senior year and then booked the show right out of school. So that was like, oh, I'm not going to be a waitress. You know what I mean? It was like that
Yeah.
surprise. And after I did The Lion King, which was 8 shows a week, really intense schedule, going from being like a kid in college, I decided to come to LA to relax, actually. But I came with a talent manager who was the manager for a young Nala in The Lion King. So Big Nala and young Nala came west, and she introduced me to an agent out here. And so my pop star audition was actually an agency submission.
Real quick, let's go back to Broadway and The Lion King. That is big. That's huge. And you said you had 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
How was that? I'm assuming that's intense pressure to, I mean, like you said, you just came out of college. So how was that entire experience for you?
That was it was so crazy. First of all, so Rent was out at the time, Lion King, like all of these like shows that are just it was the Hamilton of our era. So we would just go on auditions because we were in New York and we were in college. Like I never really thought that I was gonna book a Broadway show from college. We were just like, let's just put our backpacks on and let's just keep showing up. And then I noticed the auditions got more serious, more people in the room. I was like, ooh, okay. And then actually Julie Taymor showed up at one of my callbacks, and I was like, okay, this is for real. And I was still a senior in college, so I will say that stepping into that was probably how a lot of the girls felt stepping into being a pop star, because you're going from I'm chilling with my friends to I'm doing 8 shows a week, and Julie Taymor, excuse me, not no no Julie Andrews is backstage, and all these stars and famous people are meeting you, and it was a lot for my spirit. And I have to admit I had I'm forgetting what that thing is called. Imposter syndrome. Yeah, I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome. But doing 8 shows a week in New York City gives you a particular type of grit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time I had moved, and Pop Stars was one of my first auditions. By the time I moved to LA, I was like, I could do anything. I just did 8 shows a week.
Yeah, no, yeah, that would be my mentality too. And you were so young too, like
21.
wild to me.
Yeah.
All right, so you were saying now pop stars. It was an agency submission, or what did you say it was?
Yeah. My talent agent, I got signed with an agency out here to do TV and film and print work and whatever else we could do out here. And they were like, "Well, we got this audition for a reality show pop group." And so my agent submitted me. I'm not sure how other girls, because when I got there it was a huge line. So my agent submitted me, but it was definitely like open call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as far as so then going from Broadway and performing on stage is a little bit different than being in an actual band or a girl group. And so you had that passion to be part of a band, or was it just more like, let me kind of go with this and see what happens and see, you know?
Yeah, I always wanted to find my way into the music industry. I mean, for sure. Even if you're doing, Broadway musicals, you sing, so you definitely eventually want a record deal, And when I was in college, I was signed, or I was offered a deal with a group under a subsidiary of Sony, and I didn't take the deal. I don't know. I was like, don't ask me, but I think I've always been a bit full of myself. And I thought that the offer that they gave me and the girls was a low ball offer. Don't ask me where I got that from. But I didn't sign the deal with Sony and then for the group. And then I went into The Lion King. But to answer your question, I definitely always wanted to interact with the music industry for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so you say you got there to that audition, and obviously there was a lot of people. But how was your actual audition process? Because based on the show, what we see, your guys' episode is a fracture of what we had seen all the other girls, their audition process. Obviously, they auditioned in their own cities. Then they were all taken to LA to do this workshop, and they spend, I think they said about almost a week at the workshop doing all these challenges and stuff. But your guys' episode really seems, I don't know if was it just one day? Was it multiple
It's only one day. Um,
days?
I now my memory isn't that great. I feel like you probably know more than me because I believe one girl wasn't able to do it, and therefore they held this audition in Los Angeles. It was a full day though, Um, definitely wasn't a week, but we were there for 8 hours. We were there because they auditioned you vocally. Then they took us into the studio with David Foster. Then they took us into choreo. Like in one day, we ran through like the whole gamut, choreography in, recording studio. So I had no idea that all these other girls had been around for a week because we just popped in there.
Yeah. Yeah, two of the girls ended up dropping out of the competition.
Yeah.
They felt like they needed more vocalists to be able to pick their final group, and then that's when they held this new audition, which, like I said, I mean, as a viewer, it was just like we were so used to just seeing this core group, and then all of a sudden,
Mm.
like two girls dropped out, we're holding new auditions. Here are the three new finalists, and it's like, wait, what happened? um, but talk to me about your audition. Specifically an example like in the studio with David Foster, the intense choreography with Travis Payne, all of it. I want to know whatever you could share and you remember. I want to know.
Well, let me tell you, the cool thing about being really young and being from New York City, I really didn't know David Foster. I didn't know Travis. Like they just weren't in my vocabulary. I still was kind of in musical theater world, so they didn't make me nervous at all. Plus, if I tell you all the people I had met during The Lion King, like I had been on Good Morning America, I had been around so many people, so I didn't really know them at the time. I definitely know, of course, David Foster now, but to me it was another audition, and I had done tons of them in New York, so I can't say that I was real like nervous. I was excited to be able to be a triple threat and be like, we get to sing, we get to dance.
Mhm.
I thought it was cool.
No, yeah, as far as like in the clips that we saw, yeah, it looks like you're very determined, you have the passion, and it looked like you had no types of nerves at all whatsoever. And it just seemed like like I mentioned to you in the DMs, I was like, as soon as I saw you, I was like, who is she? I was like, I like her. I was like, there's something about her. There's like this star quality, and the final three that they selected were so different from the previous group of girls that they had. So
Yeah.
like, okay, I was like, I get it. I was like, there's this different kind of like puzzle pieces that was missing or lacking in this initial group of girls. But no, yeah, I saw you and I was like, oh, she has this. She's determined. She's very like and then it makes sense now because you had all that training on Broadway. You had done all those shows. You had done, like you said, Good Morning America. So at this point, it seemed like you were a seasoned professional.
I mean, that's how I felt. And the thing was, I haven't seen these images in probably 25 years that you've been showing. And I love that you do this. But I was looking at younger me like, "Ooh, this girl's on fire." Like, ooh. So I get what you're saying because I haven't seen her in 25 years. And I was like, but what I was thinking about when you're putting together a group is about the vision of the people that are putting it together. And I do see someone super talented and has this passion and fire, but might not be the puzzle piece that they, wanted, So it's funny. I kind of forgot that I was a finalist. Was I a finalist?
Well, yeah, they
Okay.
asked you, Miley, and Suzanne to the original 10, which when 2 dropped out, we had 8. So you were considered one of the 11 finalists for the
Okay.
show.
Okay. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. Like your audition process was so different because eventually, when they have the 11 finalists, each one of the judges goes to the girl's hometown and lets them know you made the group or you didn't. In
Yeah.
this case, with you three, from that audition, Miley was the one that they selected. So they do show them going to Miley's house and like letting her know that she made the group. But did they do that with you, or did you just get a phone call?
Um, all they did, they gave really good feedback to my agent and asked if I could do the print. So we knew that I wasn't going to be in the group, but kind of like the trade-off was that I had billboards all over Los Angeles I had sent you. And so I didn't mind. Like for me, I was like, that's cool. I had never had a billboard or see my face so big. So they just gave really good feedback to my agent, and it kind of ended. It was one day of like passion. But the interesting thing is Ivette Sosa, I believe that's her name.
Yes.
Yeah. We went to school together.
Oh, well, yeah, she did also like Broadway and musicals and stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
we both went to Marymount Manhattan College. So she's 1 year ahead of me, but we both went to school together. She was a dance major. I was an acting major. We never met, and we never met during the auditions. We saw each other all the time on campus, but I never knew that someone from my school got into the group until it aired. So I thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so see, that's what I always wondered as a viewer. Like, I was like, did they go to her house? Did they let her know? But like you said, and then it's so different because as much as there was also an open call that day, you were submitted. So, and I had a feeling that this round of auditions was a little bit more like that because you hear the judges say, well, 2 girls are dropping out. We need to figure this out quickly. And then they were like, we got to do this like ASAP. And then, we also see Tara Manning.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of it's a lot of LA Hollywood girls. So
Yeah.
agents submitted us. But here's the thing. When your agent submits you, normally you get like carte blanche in terms of like you get the time you want and you can go in and go out. But no, we were called in from our agents, but we had to say yes to a cattle call audition. Like we were in line forever. At least that was my experience. Wait in line. This is an open call. All of us are going to be out here. And we just kind of were there for hours waiting to get our turn to get through the different cycles. But you're young. You're like, I
Yeah,
can do this. I got the stamina.
exactly. All right. So then Popstar's journey ends right there as far as that. After the show, did you continue pursuing any other auditions as far as, I mean, when you were in LA, you were saying, right?
I stayed in LA, yeah.
Okay, so what was next for you after Popstars?
So what was next was I actually ended up getting a recording contract through his name is Carl Kanai. He was the creator of Cross Colors and all this sort of like early 2000s fashion, and he was starting a record label. So I ended up signing with him, and we went into the studio, and I don't know exactly what happened, but it kind of just like fizzled out. But I did move here with a manager from New York, so she was shopping me around to different people. And then unfortunately, my management situation kind of turned a little abusive. And so I had to leave. There was just like these red flags that it was becoming not a professional relationship. And so I left that manager and any ties that she had to anything. And I started in LA by myself. So I was 22 at that time, got a room in a house full of actors, and then kind of just had to build myself back up again.
Okay. And then I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, a few
Mhm.
years later, but then we get to see you on America's Next Top Model, Cycle 4.
I don't even know. How do you even know that?
Okay, so
Oh my,
so I'm when I say I'm a big fan of the show, I'm a big fan. I literally back then I would Google your guys' name, like, oh, what are they like an example, like 2 years later, what are they up to? What have they done? What projects have they worked on, you know? And then the reason why this I'm able to do this right now is I had a lot of these files stored in my mom's old computer, you know? And when COVID happened, I had some free time to do a few things, you know? So
beautiful.
I got everything I had in that computer, brought it over, and one day randomly, like I still listen to the Eating's Crush album to this.
Get over yourself, goodbye.
Yeah,
It wasn't hard to be you, girl, living in your life sometimes. Yeah, that was a good
exactly.
single too.
So like I said, I've Googled you guys and seen what you guys have done, what you guys have worked. One thing I will say though is so annoyed that they didn't really feature your full audition. I see when you come in and I believe you sing, you
I
say
do.
something as you walked in, and
Yes.
then they do like a full-on montage of like a whole bunch of other girls, and I was like,
Yeah.
why didn't they give her little audition so we were able to see that?
And it was powerful. I have to tell you, I spent more time with America's Next Top Model than pop stars. And I can give you the skinny now because NDAs are over and that was a long time ago, but we were sequestered. So they sequestered all of us girls and moved us into a hotel. So for that, I was there for days,
Oh,
even
okay.
though you see that little clip of me. And I was told that I don't socialize enough with the girls. And that was why they were releasing me, that I wasn't, you know, I don't know. This is the way that I look at it is they like a little bit of drama and a
I was
little
just
bit
gonna
of,
say, yeah, it's
uh,
reality TV, so they're gonna want girls that are causing unnecessary stuff.
yeah. And so that's what and Tyra herself told me that, like, just basically, it doesn't seem like you're interacting with the girls. And I know for TV, that means you're not creating anything interesting, but I literally was there. I'm like, I'm here to be a model. And a lot of let me say this, a lot of those girls had no experience in the arts. They had no experience with this industry. And so I have a bachelor's degree. I've been on Broadway. I'm really serious. So to be honest with you, I didn't relate, but I was there for many days. Even though you see that little snippet, they sequestered us in these hotels in Beverly Hills, and then we had to do psychological testing. Like,
Okay, so I've heard of that because I mean, America's Next Top Model is another show that I really followed um,
yeah,
throughout the entire process, and I've seen some of the contestants do interviews, and they say that yeah, that they had to go through all that in
yeah,
order to be on the show
in
and
order to be on the show.
cast too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, I mean, yeah, so you were the semifinalist. I think it was 36 of you, and then they cut you, I think when they went down to like 20 something girls, if I recall
hmm
correctly.
hmm
But did you ever consider, well, did you ever consider of doing another cycle of top model? You were like, I did this once and I'm good.
Yeah, I did it. That's exactly how I felt. Plus, I forget his name. The guy that does, the flamboyant one that does helps with the
Mr.
runway.
Alexander?
Mr. Alexander, he came to me and he was like, "This show is not for you." Like, he literally said, "This show isn't for you." And other members of America's Next Top Model told me that Missy Elliott was coming out with a show that's about artists and musicians, and we think you'd be better for this.
Did you audition for that?
So no, I never heard back, but I I didn't love being sequestered. And I agree with Mr. Alexander, like where he said that, like I was like, I don't feel right here because the conversations I'm about that business and the art, and it was a lot of drama. You don't get to see that. They tell
Uh,
you the show is about modeling, but there's a lot of fighting and stuff behind the
yeah,
scenes.
there's a scene where I don't know, I think two of the girls are arguing and you're on a full-on robe. I think you have a glass of like wine or something, and it just looks like you're very like kind of like what is this? Like
I'm so over it.
yeah, literally that's like your face. You're like, what is this? Yeah, I did see that.
And that's how I felt on America's Next Top Model. And so that's why I was like, it's not for me. Yeah. I love Tara though.
Okay.
She's bomb.
Let's see what else. Any other projects that you have worked on that just like you would want to share with the audience? Like a
Yeah.
fun project or a fun story you have?
Well, before I fell in love and got married and left the country, I had started my film career, and I got to work on a film with Katt Willams and Tracy Morgan and Ice Cube called First Sunday, and that was really fun. And I just wanted to tell you that Katt Willams is as amazing as people say he is. I At the time I didn't have a TV. Not that it was a big deal. I just wasn't. I was talking to someone and they were saying, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "Oh no, I don't have a TV." He overheard that, and he delivered a TV to my trailer where we were shooting. And so I don't know. I've always thought that that was like a fun little Hollywood story, but I'd say now it's about the children, and then because I have two children, a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's doing what I would call like the slow and easy work, commercials and print, and I'll never stop singing because it brings me joy. Oh, and I created my Afrobeat Tap.
Yes, I wanted to talk about that. Can you share like how did that start and like I want to know all about it.
So Afrobeat Tap is my new baby, and it came about because partly I was lonely in Los Angeles, even though, you have neighbors, I have children, but I was starting to feel very isolated. It might have to do with the fact that we're always on our phones, and my family lives in Philadelphia and I'm here in Los Angeles. So I am seeking to create a community space where we can do African dance, tap dance, and sing, and create an environment where all are welcome. It's called dance church to me.
Okay.
And right now it's in its infancy, but I'm creating a dance church for people on Sunday because not everybody fits into the traditional church. But I want to create an environment where people can feel spiritually connected through their creativity and their art.
Nice. Yeah, I saw like I mean I've been following you for a minute on this new page. And I saw that you started doing that and I was like, "Oh, this looks like so much fun. This is like really really cool."
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. And if I'm being honest, I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's a great way to just be with them without their phones.
Yes. Like you said, we are so sometimes glued to our phones.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you're able to get away from all the technology, the devices, and just reflect with something like dance or something like singing and just escape, and that's always a really good thing.
Yeah. Oh, my cat. Hello, kitty.
As far as pop stars, and I get it that for you guys, like for some of you, like this is just an audition. So when it's just an audition, you don't really stay in contact with people from an audition. It's like if I go on job interviews, I don't really stay in contact with these people. But when it comes to pop stars or America's Next Top Model, did you stay in contact with anyone or?
Yeah. So for America's Next Top Model, because I spent more time with them, we created like an alumni group. And so, I mean, I haven't heard from them in many years, but right after, we kind of had a group, and we would, like have like a little group chat. But as far as pop stars, I would just every now and then I just see some people I know out in the world. I don't know everybody's names either, but I'd see someone doing background vocals for an artist, or I'd see someone. So we see each other. And again, Yvette, we're alumni from the same school.
I know that
So
is such a funny story.
yeah,
It's such a small world.
And it was fun cheering her on. I was like, well, someone from my school got in. Yeah.
Would you, well, I mean, you're saying like now you're more focused on your family and that structure, but would you ever consider doing another singing, like something like The Voice or maybe even American Idol? Was that something that has crossed your mind by any chance?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It is definitely crossed my, I auditioned for American Idol too.
What
I hit all the
season?
shows. But that one I didn't get any TV coverage on, but I did that one of those long days for American Idol. And again, with these shows, what people don't know, they're casted too. So it's not that every great voice is even going to be showcased. There's so many great singers at these auditions that you will never see, never hear. So I did a few, and then I kind of, by the time The Voice, I was like, I think I'm okay. But I have been asked quite a bit, even in these recent years, to audition for The Voice before. Yeah.
You should do it. I think we need to see you on TV again.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, this is all, I mean, you answered everything that I have on my little notes right here. So I appreciate it. Is there anything you want to share? Anything else? Any?
I just want to thank you for doing this because I actually didn't really know that I have some heartstrings for the show. You know, you do something 25 years ago, and because you don't see it, you know, you kind of forget. But those images that you're putting up there, it's kind of like I now have a graduation class, but it's like pop stars, you know, I'm a pop stars alum.
Mhm.
And it would be cool for us to have an alumni meeting somewhere or, you know, some sort of get together.
You know how many times after I do these interviews with the contestants, how the contestants themselves have said, if you're already doing this, try to get a group, a bunch of us to get together. But I mean, in theory, that to me would be amazing. As a fan of the show, I would love to see that you ladies together and just talking about the competition, talking about what exactly, because everyone's gonna have a different story. Everyone's gonna have a different, experience of the show. Um, but I mean, yeah, that would be so much fun to have you guys all together again talking, and then especially like you and Miley and Suzanne that were different audition processes than the other girls. Just
To even
have,
meet the other, yeah, meet
yeah,
the other girls and be like, hey.
because at the audition there is clips of you and Suzanne like next to each other. I think especially when it's a choreo, but I never see Miley around you too. So
Yeah,
she was. I mean, she in the same group or was she? Well, you said
I
it's a
don't
long
think
day,
she,
so I'm assuming it. She probably
I
came
don't think
later.
see, that's the thing. Let me tell you, on that day, there might have been 200 girls. So yeah, it's hard to place everybody. They were just weeding us out bit by bit and taking us to different stages. So I don't know where she was. She could have just been in another group because they were bringing us in maybe like five at a time, at least by the time it got to the choreo, we were like in small groups and they were just checking out how we moved.
And- But yeah, no, I mean, we covered everything I have right here.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And what would be really cool, I have this Imagine Rock. Imagine if the alums got together and did their own reality show and created their own group. There's a Netflix show, something five, or what is it? I don't know. But Renee from Hamilton, she's on the show. And it's basically about an older pop group that
Oh,
gets back together.
Girls Five Eva.
Yes, Girls Five Ever.
Okay,
And
when I saw that show, when I've seen that show, it just brings me back up to like Y2K girl groups and those. So I love that show. That show's, yeah, it's really good. So that would be, yeah.
yeah, like a reality show. Like, where are they now? Where are these women now? And because I've seen these girls are still beautiful and fine. Because I see them on your page. I'm like, oh, she look good. You know, everyone is like aging like fine wine, and we're all over 45. Like we all are. Because that was like 25 years ago. Yeah.
But Bashirrah, again, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and I've had a blast talking to you. you, like I said, when I saw you on the show, I instantly knew that I liked you. And then now just having this conversation, I was just able to flow so easily, talk to, like, if I knew you, which I don't, but you know what I mean? And sometimes when I do
Yeah.
these things too, I get a little nervous and I'm like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go, but let me just go for it.
You're
But thank you
great.
so much.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. You really have brought value to our lives. Thank you.
Thank
More value. Yeah.
thank you. Sure, again, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day and stay cool because it is warming up.
Yes. All right, my love. Great talking to
Bye.
you.
Likewise, thank you.